Hi everybody, welcome to today's video. My name is Max, and what I basically talk about is just anything with airsoft and airsoft related items, either guns, shooting demos, reviews, and kind of anything in between. But going into what today's video is going to be about, essentially it's just questioning if big airsoft guns are really worth it, in the long run. And by big airsoft guns, what I mean is one of these bad boys, for example. So this gun right here I have is the ANK M60. This is the AEG version. They do have these in gas, I think, but it's a different manufacturer. But I don't know. Anyway, so guns like these, like the heavy machine gun category, big sniper rifles like a 50 cal, or the very unique items like the minigun, the bazookas, rocket launcher. All kinds of just interesting large airsoft rifles and guns, and just questioning if they're worth it. So essentially with these unique and special like airsoft guns, they kind of tend to only appeal to certain customers. It's really the unique factor they try to go for, or if they're trying to perfect that, that really unique and cool loadout that no one's ever seen before. It's mainly like an appeal thing. Like they want to really just show it off. Like that's kind of how I see it as. When you get these things, you kind of really want to show like, hey, I'm unique from everybody else. Look at my ridiculous M60. Granted, the M60, it's not so unique. I've seen them plenty of times, but more so unique for like the miniguns, the giant just Browning machine guns, or like the rocket launchers. I've rarely seen those, but they do exist. You will come across them, in certain games and whatnot. The other thing with, it could be like a good thing or a bad thing. Like for the M60, for example, I mainly chose it because it's one of my favorite heavy machine guns. It's very unique. Everybody knows the M60. Everybody's seen it in movies or video games and so on. So I mainly got it because, of course, I wanted to be unique because I don't know many of my friends that have this. So typically it's usually just, it's fun for me to just use this thing here and there. And then, of course, just having it to my collection is also a really cool thing. The thing is too with the bigger guns, you definitely need to be more physically active, I would say, because with running around with these type of guns in your hand, if you're even if you're in a proning position, for example, because this one has a bipod, so you could just lay on the ground, or you can mount this on like a wall or something and just sit there and shoot all day. You could do that. I personally have gone Rambo with this thing and ran around it with the field, and I'll tell you, it'll wear you out. I would say I'm a little more physically active than a lot of my other friends are. So for me, it's not a huge issue. Yeah, granted, I do feel tired after a few hours with this thing, but some people can't even go like an hour without really being tired, because this thing right here is about 16 pounds. So you got to also think, 16 pounds is something you're going to be carrying all day. Yes, it does have a handle. A lot of these guns do have a handle, but the thing is, you're not really going to be on the field holding it by the handle the whole time. So that's the other thing to think about when you invest in these bigger guns. Another kind of like a con to this would be the cost. With these guns being the uniqueness and specialty of them, they're going to be expensive because, first off, they're the more obscure guns that really nobody sees. They don't make a lot of them, so therefore the price tag and just availability is going to be very scarce. For some, not going to say for every big gun, but for some. This particular M60 that I bought is, I got it for $360. I kind of see it trending at that price still after almost about a year of owning it. I got it back in March of this year, so about 9 months in. So it's still at that same price. But if we're talking, for example, there's like, I saw an MG42 that's $500. The ever so popular minigun that goes into the thousands. Those kind of guns are, insane. You have to really have deep pockets if you want to invest in something like that. And again, It's really something, if you wanted it, then you kind of go for it. You don't just buy it just because, oh, I wanted to get a Browning machine gun, I'm just going to buy one for the heck of it. No, you need to really consider, you needed to have thought of this gun before really getting into it, and you're going to know what you're getting into. So that's kind of, a con for some of the bigger guns, is they're ridiculously expensive. If it's something that you really want, it's going to be something you're going to have to save up for a good while. For this one, I did save up for a pretty good while because I did want an M60 for a while. So, this is something that I wanted. I thought about it. I didn't just go out and buy it. This one is something that I've, waited probably a month or two before I really considered, going into it and buying it. Another thing is, too, depending on what kind of just big gun that you get, whether it's an AEG, which is electric for those of you that are really new to this and not for sure, but either the electric or the gas powered ones, there could be differences between the two. I've really never had a gas operated big rifle or heavy machine gun, so I don't really know exactly what the maintenance and how durable the parts are. This one I have is the AEG, so maintenance-wise, nothing really I had to do yet. Knock on some wood. I typically clean these ever so often. If I really just have it dirtied up or whatever. But that's one thing you may need to just be aware of a little more, just because at this point, with the amount of money you invested, you really want to make sure that this thing is pristine, it's cleaned. You keep it in in good shape, because it's an investment, a pretty expensive investment at this point, and it's something, it's considered the best option, to keep things going. It's just daily maintenance. Another thing too is it's not something that's really recommended for a beginner player. For something like this, in this category of airsoft, you really need to kind of have experience in the game, and you kind of need to understand if this is something you really need. For me, it's something I've thought about for a while, and I really wanted to experiment in it. I've been in airsoft for probably like 12 or 13 years or so at this point. So I've seen my fair share of experience. I've had a lot of time to think of what I really wanted. What else I want to add to my collection. What am I going to really use in the field? So I had time to really think, because let's say 10 years ago, this probably wouldn't be something I'd want. I'd probably want something as like a pistol or sniper rifle or something small, something basic that everybody has. That would have been me probably 10 years ago. But now I kind of got bored of everything. I've played it with like every loadout, so I really wanted to dive into the HMG category of airsoft. So it's kind of why I went into this. But anyway, for level wise, definitely in the medium to higher up, just player range. If you're more experienced, this is something you're probably going to end up going for. I mean, the other thing is too, if you have the money, if you're just loaded like crazy, I feel, some people don't have the experience, and then they still have the biggest freaking guns and the most expensive gear. And I always just question, I'm like, I don't understand why you need all that, and you're just starting off. You kind of need the bare minimum to start. But hey, everybody's different. I kind of started off with the bare minimum for a while, before I started investing in my gear. Money, it's an expensive hobby. Again, these things are expensive. The gear is expensive. You have to participate in the games too. That's another fee you got to pay. So it's always like cost that goes into these things as well. And kind of touching into the last few bits of things, starting off with these two, it's gonna be different in terms of like ammo. You're gonna need probably more batteries with you, because a lot of these bigger guns, the battery has multiple functions. For example, function-wise for the battery, this is gonna feed the electric box magazine and power this gun at the same time. So those batteries are going to drain really quick if you're like the main defense of the team and you're just shooting like crazy. The other thing is too, usually for the bigger guns, they're going to have a ridiculous BB capacity. This one, it comes with a 2,500 round stock box mag, the OEM one that comes with it. You can upgrade to the 4,000. So, there's a lot of firepower, a lot of BBs going downrange. And then, the expense of the BBs too, you can literally take a whole jar of BBs, dump it into the box mag, and, you could toss the BB jar in the garbage because it's empty. So, with you being the defense, you're going to be going through a lot of ammo. Granted, yeah, BBs are not super expensive or anything, but if you're playing, like, let's just say I had a game a few months ago where I went through 10 box mags of BBs. So again, the one that comes stock with this is 2,500. So if you do 2,500 times 10, that's already in the 5 digits of BBs that are fired, like 20,000 or 25,000 or something. My math is probably off, but anyway, it's past the 5-digit mark of how many BBs. And canisters, I had, it was like maybe probably like eight or nine full canisters that I dumped into this thing. And yeah, I spent like $80 on BBs alone. Yeah, but it was fun. You gotta also remember there's fun in this too. So I'm not really crying about the cost of the BBs. You have fun with it. It was a great time. It was the greatest thing I've had probably in the last year with this particular game with some of my buddies. But anyway, it's something really cool. Like I really have not had any like negative thoughts of this. Like I'm really happy I went with the M60 and kind of jumped into the heavy gun category. But if it's something you're not really willing to do right away, it's something I wouldn't recommend. Then if you're not willing to invest a lot of time and money with buying a lot of ammo, buying spare batteries, buying upgraded box magazines or upgraded kits for the AAG like the gearboxes and whatnot, then it's probably something you should wait on and just start with something simple like an AK or an M4 or something like that. Or if you like shotguns, it really depends on your preference. But anyway, would I recommend it to a beginner? Probably not. If you feel like you need to, then sky's the limit, do it. But in my personal opinion, if somebody asked me, I would tell them, try to build your loadout with something a little more affordable first, just so you kind of get a feel for it. Because some people that are, the younger ones especially, they'll get an AK, run around for like an hour, and they're already done. They're tired, and they can't even keep playing anymore. So if you throw this 15-pound beast into the equation, I mean, it's already, you're already getting tired looking at it. And the other thing is too, this thing is really tall. This is probably, so I'm 6'1", so if I stand up, the rifle is right up to my probably a little less than the center of my abdomen. So that's the other thing to consider. If you're more of a shorter stature, you might have a little trouble. So I myself am taller and kind of a little more muscular, so this is no problem. Like I said, I've shot over 20,000 BBs out of this in just one game a few months ago. Yeah, I was tired at the end of the day, but I mean, I'm used to this kind of stuff, so it's not really a huge deal for me. But anyway, the whole premise of this video is just to kind of educate you on making the right decision if you're trying to purchase a unique or heavy or just really expensive airsoft gun. You need to just think about the little things like that. I kind of just put this video together just to really share with you guys, so I hope you kind of learned and just kind of heard something different. I'm sure you heard little bits and pieces if you asked somebody else, but this is kind of just me expressing my thought with the idea of bigger guns, and whether it's a good or bad idea, it really depends on your preference as well and your experience level. But anyway, guys, that's really all I had for today's video. I really hope you did enjoy it. I'm hoping you guys have something positive to say. Let me know in the comments if you have something interesting to say. Doesn't matter, leave a comment regardless. If you did like the video, definitely leave a like and share the video if you can, please. And then also, if you like any of my airsoft videos, or if are an existing viewer or a returning viewer, you guys already know how I do things, so definitely check out my channel for more. If you are new, welcome. I do a lot of airsoft videos like this, a lot of reviews, shooting demos, unboxing, tutorials, anything really related to airsoft is what I will do. So if that's something you like, I would even recommend to subscribe and check out some of my playlists, check out some of my existing videos. And I will end it on that note, guys. You guys have a good day.